bringing you the latest news from Frenship Athletics. This is the Tiger Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. I'm Randy Rosetta. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Wednesday night, our last Wednesday night before we take a little break before Thanksgiving. We're going to jump in and talk Frenship football. They're wrapping up their season and also wrapping up a pretty special career with this young man sitting to the left of me. We've gone through last week's scores enough. We'll talk about Frenship's game a little bit. But I want to go through the playoff schedule for the teams that are still alive, starting tomorrow night. Monterey against Fort Worth Arlington Heights in the 5A Division I area round. That's 7 p.m. at Shotwell Stadium. I was wrong about what station that was on last night. I'm not sure. Brennan, is 97.7 one of ours?
So the Monterey game will not be on the Eagle because of Lady Raider basketball tomorrow. And so I believe they will be on...
It's 97.7 is what I saw.
That'll be Sunny.
Okay.
Sunny 97.7.
All right, that's ours?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to get in trouble then. Okay.
No, you are not.
All right, I just want to make sure I get the right information out there. Plainsman played actually really well the other night, start to finish, but gave up a couple of fumble returns and were down at halftime and then just dominated in the second half, 150-32. Friday, a bunch of games down in Abilene, one in San Angelo. Lubbock Cooper against Prosper Walnut Grove at 3 p.m. at ACU. That's right here on 100.7 The Score, unless I'm wrong about that. I think I'm correct about that. Liberty plays Graham in a 4A Division II area round game at Shotwell Stadium. That's on 93.1 Young Country. Estacado is playing Brock also in 4A Division II at San Angelo Stadium. That's down the radio dial with Nick Long. Those are two very interesting games. Second round for 4A Division II gets a lot steeper than the first round. Let's see, TAPS Division III, Lubbock Christians against San Antonio Holy Cross at McMurray. That's at 4 p.m. in Abilene. And in six-man TAPS action, Christ the King is playing Azle Christian, 7 p.m. at Greyhound Field in Knox City. That's Knox City's famous hometown of Coach Hutch, Wayne Hutchison. That's where he worked his magic as a high school guy. This young man, Chase Campbell, worked some magic for the last 3 years. And I was thinking about Jay, you told me, and I think it was very early in Layton's sophomore season. It may have been the Lubbock Cooper night where he just went crazy in the second half. And I remember you telling me that next week at our weekly Monday thing, we got another one coming. And I'd gotten to know you a little bit by then, and I knew you weren't one to BS. And you told me that, and I tucked it away. And then when we got to the next season, it was probably the first game, and number 7 was out there. I was like, oh, that's who Jay was talking about. This young man's been on the radar for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a fixture out at Frenship, it seems like, for almost a decade, and I know it wasn't quite a decade, but, coming through our middle schools and then having him in high school and, just done so many really outstanding things, as an athlete and as a person. He's definitely made a huge impact on not just our football program, but our school, and definitely our basketball program, our track program. He's just had a really positive influence on Frenship in our community for sure.
In fact, Chase, somebody was mentioning you, I can't remember if it was this week or the week before, your name came up, and I said, "Yeah, he's hurt, and unfortunately his season's done." And somebody heard your name. They said, "The basketball player?" I said, "No, well, yeah, he's a basketball player too, but he's a pretty good football player." So I don't know if I've ever asked you. I've heard about some of your background. Mom ran track at Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
And Dad ran track, or was Dad a football guy too?
Football. So football at Arkansas as well, yes, sir.
So did you spend some time in Fayetteville?
Yes, sir. I was actually born in Fayetteville. So
it's one of my favorite college towns in the world. It's a very unique little place. Let's put it that way. And then you spent some time in Waco.
Yes, sir. And then moved here start of 8th grade moved to Frenship 8th grade year.
So, Jay, when did you first meet Chase and understand that without the athletic stuff, what you just touched on, I'm not sure people understand that enough. He's just a good kid. His parents did a good job with him. When you met him, did you realize he was going to have an impact on your program that way?
Yeah, it didn't take long at all. I first met Chase, like he said, when they were moving in and had decided to come, to Frenship. And then I went and watched him play basketball, and I saw his athleticism, and how special that was. And then when we spent our first summer together, I remember telling him, or maybe his dad, might have told you, Chase, as well, that he reminded me of Donovan Smith with the way that he interacted with his teammates, and was a good leader, and really one of the best leaders I've been around in my career, much less even out at Frenship, and that's getting kind of long, Randy. I've been coaching a while, so I'd definitely put him up there as one of the top leaders I've been around in my career.
And Chase, you're not like a rah-rah guy. You're not. I used this reference the other day. This is going to go way over your head, Coach will understand. You're not like John Belushi in Animal House, where he's trying to get his.
I'll be shocked if Chase knows that.
You're old enough to check out that movie now, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's not that. That's not. But
yeah.
There's different ways to lead. Is that just natural for you, or is that something that you kind of had to embrace at some point?
Yes, sir. I would say just prior people playing, seeing how they lead, and I think having my own style of leading, and then a lot of it just comes with the competitiveness, knowing that I got to step up if I want to win, and that's obviously the goal, is to win.
Because you have been around some good leaders just in the Frenship football program.
Sure.
And I think what stands out about Chase is as good as he is an athlete, he's humble. He interacts with everybody on the team. It doesn't matter if they're a starter, if they're on varsity, if they're a freshman. I've seen him take time with kids to sign autographs or talk to them. And so he treats everybody good, and I think that's what really stands out about Chase.
Let me tell you, if anybody doubts that, the night that Graham Stevens, I think that was a road game where he caught the touchdown pass late in the game, and I asked him, "Hey, can you grab Graham so I can talk to him?" He was more excited than Graham was. That was one of his guys. So
yeah, no doubt.
We're coming up on a break. We'll come back and talk more Frenship football and Chase Campbell when we come back in the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Diving headfirst into Frenship athletics. You're listening to the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back into the Tiger Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. All right, we'll very briefly talk about Frenship's game last week. Season ended with a 45-30 loss to El Paso Eastwood in the area round, which is rare for Frenship. You guys had won, I think, 5 out of 6 by-district games since you've been there. And that was a really good team. I was sitting in the press box across town that night. I mentioned you guys were playing them, and the immediate reaction was that's a really good team. They started rattling off guys that were doing some good things this season. You got an up close and personal look at them. How good were the Troopers?
They were a good team. They were the district champs. Swept their district. Their only loss was to a team out of California, a really talented team that was ranked nationally. So they were a good team. They played with a lot of confidence. I felt like we played a good half. For whatever reason, we're still trying to kind of figure it out. The last 3 games, we did not have good second halves. And so that was one thing that I felt like really cost us in that game, was just our ability to come out and finish in the second half. But still proud of this team and very grateful for their contribution to our program, especially the seniors. Hated for it to end. I'd a lot rather be preparing to play in another round, but still proud of our team and grateful for our seniors.
We've talked enough this season. This was a challenging season with the injuries, including the pretty glaring one right here. And your guys, as I watched that game while I was kind of watching, I had to pay attention to the one I was at, but I mentioned Graham Stevens. He gets a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Braden Dunkerson, kid who just came this year, gets a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Your guys never stopped playing. The game was probably out of reach, and they just kept plugging away.
Yeah, in fact, we tried to make a run at it, because we scored some of our touchdowns, just as you mentioned, late, and then came really close to getting an onside kick to, continue that. But, I think playing hard, that's just in the Tiger DNA. That's part of our culture, out there. That's, I talk about being grateful for the seniors, because I tell every class every year at this point that you're leaving a lasting legacy for the groups that are coming after you. And I think that's one of the big big things they leave is that's what the expectation is that no matter what, we're going to play hard and play till the very last tick of the clock.
Which I'm going to get Chase to talk about that in a minute, but watching your guys that last time, especially, I mentioned Graham, but I know you and Hayden Wilson have had a strong bond because I've seen Mom Wilson post pictures when, first of all, Hayden was almost as tall as you at that point, so that tells you it's been a while. You kept going. Hayden hit a ceiling at some point, but you guys, there must have been something that connected you guys right away, because just watching you guys through the years in both sports, you can see that you fit in and they accepted you and all that. And how that culture that Coach is talking about, how meaningful has that been to you?
Yes, sir. It means a lot to me for sure. Not knowing them my whole life, but me coming in, like you said, them accepting me. And then they're also some of my best friends off of the field or off of the court. We all hang out all the time, all summer, go over, swim at someone's house. But I feel like that's what I'm going to miss the most, because you're never going to really be with your best friends like when you go to college, or maybe some of them won't even play football again. So that was really big for me, having good relationships with everyone on the team. But
the good news for those folks, for Coach, for me, is you're not going too far away. You committed to Texas Tech. Is it next month when all of that gets more official?
Yes, sir, December 3rd.
And we didn't really talk about it because I don't like to bother kids with that stuff, but that's you did what a lot of kids sometimes they want to get away from home. What about Texas Tech got you to want to stay here other than their really good program?
Yes, sir. Seasons, they've been having a great season.
Yes, they are.
That part, but I think it's just the culture around the football team. Coach McGuire, I've known him since I moved here. He was my first offer, so they've always been on me kind of heavy. I wouldn't say Tech was my first choice when it came down to it, but when I really sort the pros and cons, Tech was just something I couldn't really pass up, even though it is home, like you said, trying to get away from home, but 20 minutes up the road isn't too bad.
We talk about cooking in the Frenship show a lot ever since Coach brought up Isaiah's dad's mom a good cook.
Yes,
there you go.
For sure.
So
I'll be there.
She gets to fatten you up a little bit. You get to have laundry done, all that stuff. So, And I think Hayden's probably not going. I don't want to speak for Hayden because Hayden's got a basketball season to go. He's got to survive a few more months with Coach Page, which you get to relax a little bit.
Yes, sir. Get to watch.
I'm just kidding. He's coming on next week, so he can give me grief about that. You saw that bond over the last several years, and Hayden's another one of those guys. Now, you like you said, you miss all your seniors, but Hayden, I'm looking at what he did in his last game, 10 catches for 144 yards. In that, for a kid his size, he's one of the toughest players I think I've seen in the last 7 years. Just took some just huge hits and just popped back up and kept playing.
Yeah, he's definitely going in the tough category, for sure. And Hayden really kind of came on the scene, last year and came in and made some plays in critical situations. I can think of a fourth down play he made against Midland on 4th and 10 where he caught an underneath route and then went and got the ball and then stepped up this year playing multiple positions and coming in after Chase got hurt and really taking on that role of being that guy, at that time in our season. So very grateful for him and all the seniors as well.
We'll talk one more segment about Frenship football and Chase Campbell when we come back in the Tiger Fan Zone, 100.7 The Score.
Your inside look into Frenship sports. This is the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. We touched on Frenship's season. They finished 4-7, which that's very unfriendship-like too. But that 4-7, this goes back to the first few weeks of the season. That you guys weren't a 4-7 team, so I'll say that and leave it here. Something came up in my head when we were talking there, Chase. You remind me a little bit of. It's going to take a minute to get to Sawyer Robertson, because of the two coaches you spent your high school career playing for are very different. Now, I've gotten to know him, and I've gotten to know Coach Page very well too. How cool was it to have coaches that were personality-wise so different for 3 years? Yes,
sir. I feel like Coach Page and Northcutt, they do have differences, and I think I could take a lot from both of them. Coach Page is hard work, DNA, and then Northcutt, the more mind, like the game within the game. He likes to teach us that, and then He has this saying he says before the games want to be loose but not loosey-goosey. I feel like I'm going to take that from Coach a lot because I remember I used to be real locked in the game, quiet, but now before games I'm more chill, and I feel like it helps me play better.
The reason I mentioned Sawyer played for Seth Parr and a coach named Gary Hicks was very much like Coach Northcutt, where low-key, going to get straight to the point, and Coach Parr was very much like Coach Page, where you were going to know exactly where you stood. It may not be wrapped in the nicest of packaging, but and watching you guys handle it, it's fun to watch high school kids deal with that. So next step with everybody knows you missed the last 2.5 games of the regular season and the playoff game, got hurt. That's well known. Now you kind of turn the page and get ready. Going to go through all the official stuff. Did you enroll in January?
Yes, sir.
Is Coach Page going to have a ceremony for you like he did for Holden?
Oh, I hope so.
There we go.
I hope so.
That was not a happy Coach Page that night. I hope he's not listening because that's a scab he doesn't need me to pick. Are you still engaged with the basketball guys, kind of watching them and seeing if you can help a little bit? Because I know you were in football. I watched you on the sidelines in football.
Yes, sir. I plan on doing the same thing because those are still my guys. I still love all of them, all the seniors for sure, and want to do what I can while I'm still here.
I know Leighton even showed up a few times last year because Leighton did the same things. You enrolled early and went, and now he's all – they're going to thicken you up pretty quick after you get to the point where you can – not that you're okay now, but they're going to work on some things. I mentioned mom's cooking. You're going to get a lot of nutrition and a whole different set of things. Although Frenship, I would guess that you guys get them as ready as anybody in West Texas with what you put them through.
Do a pretty good job for sure. And we have a new strength coach this year. His name's Hagan Little, that took over after Coach Uzel. And, Coach Uzel didn't go far.
Nope.
Chase is fixing to run right back into Coach Uzel when he gets to Texas Tech.
What's his nickname?
The Warden.
There we go. So
we didn't give him that nickname either. He came in with it.
You got to go back. You've got to go back to the Warden. How well do you know some of the guys that are going to be future teammates other than the obvious guys?
Yes, sir, for sure. I know some people up there now, and then my recruiting class, we've got very close. Everyone's been on some game day visits, so got to hang out with those guys. And then some people on the team, some receivers, like you said, Leighton, TJ West, and then some older guys in the room that'll help me develop quicker.
Yeah, your recruiting class is getting a lot of attention. And like even today, I saw it pop back up. What's it like to be a part of that group that you flip on ESPN or go on these recruiting sites and you're going to see names that you're going to be playing with?
Yes, sir. It's a very good feeling knowing there's some guys my caliber coming in, a lot of them big names, so they'll push me to be a better version of myself.
And you're going to have, I think we'll have, I don't want to, because quarterback there's coming back from injury too. Barron's moving on, I think, right? I think Barron's out of.
Pretty sure.
Barron's a kid I've known even longer than Coach. I've known him since he was before he was born because of his dad. If he moves on, you're going to have to get used to a new quarterback. You're going to have Holden there to throw you the ball, but how excited are you to kind of make that next transition to – you went through 3 quarterbacks these last 3 years?
Yes, sir. And just seeing how they see the game, and then I can help them and they can help me how they see coverages, where they put the ball in what scenario. I think new quarterbacks are good to learn from.
I guess the new quarterback's going to be pretty excited to see you as well. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for dealing with me for the last 3 years, and I'm sure I'm going to keep in touch with you some way or another. So that wraps us up, and the Tiger Fan Zone will be back after this with the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.